Alex from the CSUN FTC again. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to log back into Zoom and review a couple of things real fast. And I'm going to be going over how to schedule online office hours. So as you remember in the previous video, we downloaded the program, signed in, looked at the dashboard side of things, and we looked at how to schedule a meeting. So now I'm going to walk you through exactly how to schedule an office hours meeting. You're going to want to click on meetings, go to schedule a new meeting, and up here we can type in office hours. And you can maybe give a description right here if you want to add in any information. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this for tomorrow at 3 o'clock and set that time. But again, like I said before in the last video, the time can be any time you want it to be. That doesn't stop you from starting and trying out the meeting or testing it. The time limit here, the duration, is just an estimation of how long you're expecting the meeting to last. Again, for invitation purposes, it is not going to limit you on time. I'm going to go ahead and click recurring meeting, and I'm going to select no fixed time. And you can again click weekly if you want to do, office hours once a week and just say, everyone can come and meet you at that time if they want to. Or what I like to do is pick no fixed time. And this is totally up to you, but basically you can have this set up and set this Zoom meeting up one time, and then anytime a student wants to email you or talk to you and ask you if they can meet up for a quick, office hours session, what you can do is give them the same meeting ID once this is generated, and then anytime you want to go back and start this meeting to meet with a different student, it'll be ready to go. So when you select no fixed time, it removes the date and the duration here for you so that you can just decide to start it whenever you need to, and that meeting will always stay in your docket. So we're going to go ahead with this now, and I'm not going to require a meeting password. We'll go ahead and start with everyone's video on. The audio will be on, and I'm going to enable I'm just going to leave the waiting room enabled. Actually, I don't want to record. It doesn't really matter whether or not anyone can join before me for this session, and I definitely don't want to mute participants because I want to be able to have a discussion with the student once we get into that meeting. So to be clear, all you want to do is enter the title, go through and click no fixed time is what I recommend. Click generate automatically, start with the video on, audio on, and enable that waiting room. The waiting room function is basically going to allow you to have the capacity to add one student at a time into the meeting, and that just keeps things private, just as you would have a door shut in your actual office. This just makes it so that other students can't just join the meeting unexpectedly and potentially overhear some private information that you're discussing with another student, such as grades or things like that. So I would say enable the waiting room, and the only thing that you'll have to do once you're in the meeting is you will see a little button pop up just letting you know that you have a new participant who is trying to join the meeting, and that will be your cue to let the current student know, hey, I'm going to have to wrap this up. It looks like another student is in line behind you. Do you have any more questions? Okay, great. Well, I'll see you in class, or I'll see you in the next session. And then you can go into participants, remove the student that you're talking to, and then admit the next student in. So it's a pretty easy tool, and you'll see what that looks like once we get into the actual app. So then go ahead and click save. And again, we can review right here at the title, and what you want to do is take the meeting ID and copy that either into your online syllabus on Canvas, or again, you can post that into a module. And then what you also want to do is make sure that you take the join URL and copy and paste that along with the meeting ID. And as I said this before in the last video, you can see that the meeting ID is also at the tail end of the join URL. And again, all anyone is going to need once they come into the Zoom app is to open up the join box and enter in that information, or simply click the link. And when the time comes and everybody is supposed to meet, if you click that and join in the same meeting at the same time, that's exactly how you connect with your class or with your student. And that's basically it. If you need to make any edits, you can always come back here and edit from here. And then when we go back to meetings, you can see that now this was our test meeting from before, and now this is our office hours meeting, which are two separate meetings with two separate meeting IDs. But now we have set that this one will be for groups whenever you want to have a group session, and then this one will be for one-on-one sessions. So that's kind of an easy way to keep that organized. And then depending on whichever meeting you want to start, when it's time to start that, all you have to do is come here and click Start from the dashboard, or you can open up the actual meeting list in the Zoom app. And when you click meetings here at the top, you'll see that now you have the test meeting on the side in the upcoming tab, and then we also have the office hours meeting listed here in the upcoming tab. And if I just click that specific meeting, you'll notice that you can start that meeting from here. And if you click show meeting invitation, that brings up all of this information again, where you can simply copy and paste that information from here as well. So that basically wraps up how to schedule an office hours session, and I'm going to go ahead and let you pause here if you want to set that up on your own. But then when I come back, we are going to go over how to embed this into Canvas. Alright, so here we are back in our Canvas page, and I'm sure many of you will have much more content than I do. But what we're going to do is go ahead and create a new module. So the first thing I want to add here, let's see, I'm going to put Zoom info. So I'm going to add that module. Now I'm going to add another module here, which is going to be an external URL. With the external URL, just as we scheduled this meeting before, let's see, so I'm going to take this as my office hours meeting, and I'm going to highlight this URL here and hit copy and come back to Canvas, and I'm going to paste this URL into what I will call office hours. And then let's say I'm going to indent one level. So let's say I'm going to indent that right there. And now you can see that this is going to be the link to office hours. So if you were to click this right here, you can see that now this is going to automatically open up the Zoom app and launch the application. And here we are. It is launching my app and taking me straight into the meeting. So for here, what I was saying before about joining with different kinds of audio, most people are going to want to go ahead and click join with computer audio. This is the built-in microphone and speakers that you probably already have in your laptop or your desktop. But if you ever need a backup audio option, if your laptop dies, if you happen to not have great Wi-Fi signal, you can actually click phone call, and for right here, you can pick up your cell phone or a landline, dial in one of these numbers, and then when it asks you for the meeting ID, all you have to do is punch that in and you will be joined into the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and hit join with computer audio, and the nice thing that you'll see here is that my microphone audio is jumping, so that's a good indication to show that the microphone is working. You can click this little arrow up here to pull up any different settings that you might want to change. This is only something that you might have to worry about if you're setting up Zoom in a conference room. You might want to use a different set of speakers, a different microphone if you have something like a lapel mic. And then one of the useful things here is you can always go into test speaker and microphone, and this will play a little sort of test, and all you have to do is click yes, you hear that, and then it'll play a little sample from the microphone, and you can just click yes that you hear that, and then it'll say that it sounds like everything looks good. So that's how you can just do a quick test. I definitely recommend that. And you can do the same thing here with video as well. You can choose a different background, and then you can also change your video settings if you want to do anything. Maybe that'll be a good thing to do. So far, hey everyone, here's me. So you can actually enable high definition, which I think is cool, or you can also do mirror my video in case you need a mirroring effect if the camera that you have is either facing towards you or away from you. And then this also might come in to help too if you're going to be showing any diagrams. Actually, as you can see, I think right now it looks like behind me the Portfolium shirt that I have is backwards, so when I hit the mirror effect, to me now this looks like it's the right way. But I think that's mirrored. Yeah, this is how everything normally is. So if you happen to need that, if you're showing any props or if you're going over any diagrams or holding up any examples for anything, this might be a good thing to test just to make sure that your video doesn't come out backwards. So otherwise, I will go ahead and close these options here, but if you need to, if you want to look around any of that stuff, feel free. You'll see down here that I have a bunch of different features enabled. A couple of these things are simply because I'm an administrator for Zoom, so this might be a little bit different than yours. But a couple of these things I have down here are because I enabled them. Like the chat should be enabled. I enabled closed captioning, which Zoom does not automatically close caption. But if you have anyone who needs an accommodation request, I will attach a resource in this box folder, and I have a resource as well to link you to where we have a great page about captioning, how to get captions, how to do captions yourself, what kind of captions you might need, things like that. Support is also a really cool thing. If you want to do any kind of tutoring, this is more of an advanced feature, but if you ever needed to do any tutoring, if you happen to be a professor doing office hours where you're working with students remotely doing any kind of math work, design work, you can actually do support, and when you click that, what you'll be able to do is actually drive the other person's computer, so you can take their mouse, click things, show them what to do if you're giving any instructions on how to use software. Since we're in the middle of the semester, I have a feeling that that might be something people might need at the beginning of the semester when you're going through things, or maybe showing freshman classes how to do certain things for the first time, but otherwise you probably won't need that. What I do want to take your attention to is manage participants. If you click on that button, you should be able to see a list of participants here. When you scroll over the participant's name, you have the option of, you should be able to admit people or mute people, unmute people. But what's really cool is within this app, this gives you different options for feedback. Again, here's where you can unmute or mute everyone if you have a need to. And then also when you click chat, that brings up the chat box. And so here I can send a message to everyone saying welcome, and this message would go out to all of my participants. Or what you can do too is where this blue text is, if there were other participants in the meeting, you would typically have a chance to send a private message if you needed to send a message to somebody specifically within the same meeting, but without going outside of that. So real quick, I'm going to try and add in my phone to practice with this to see as an extra participant and see if that happens to work. So I'm going to pull up the mobile app on my phone, and as you can see, the meeting ID is going to be right up here, 304-514-795. So I'm going to punch that in. You can't see right now, but I'm punching that in on my phone and clicking join. And now here you can see me again. So I'm going to mute my microphone and my video on my phone. But what I want to take your attention back to over here is that now you can see that I joined in here. And from the mobile app, I am going to, let's say I'm going to give a thumbs up. And so you can see right here, if I were to ask the students, hey, does this all make sense? Can I get a thumbs up from everyone? People can give you a little thumbs up. There's also such thing as the raise hand feature, but I think possibly because I'm the only person on this meeting, I can't raise a hand in my own meeting. But typically participants are able to, oh no, just kidding, here we go. So I just pushed the raise hand button, and that was just down here with these little icons. So now that you can see my hand is raised, I can go up here as the host and also lower the hand. But if you wanted to be, having a conversation with everyone, you could mute the microphone and then just tell people if anyone has a question that they can raise their hand can pop up. Or what you can do is I can go ahead and send a message and say, when is this due? Oops, I meant to say, when is this due? Question mark. And send that. But you can see here it says Alex to everyone. I'm saying this as a public message, but now on my phone I just changed this message to a private message, and I'm just going to send a message saying I'm confused. But now you can see that says right here, privately, Alex is telling you, I'm confused on this. So if anyone wants to give you any feedback or something that's really cool that you can do if you're having a group session with anyone, is that you can have students type in questions but type them publicly, so that in case anyone else has the same question, the class can see that. And then if you're giving a lecture or a discussion not doing office hours, you can keep everyone else's microphones on mute, so you could click mute all, and then just let students know, hey, if you have any questions throughout the duration of my lecture, go ahead and type them into the chat box, and at the very end I'm going to open that up and I'll go through those questions, and if I haven't answered them already by this point, I'm going to take some time to go ahead and address those questions at the end of the session. So feel free to type that in, and that way that won't be disruptive or interrupt your lecture. And again, you can always lower people's hands and keep everyone muted, keep everyone's cameras off, or turn them on if you want to. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to share your screen. If you click on Share Screen, which is at the bottom of the toolbar right here in the middle, this will bring up some options. You can share your desktop, which this will be useful if you are going back and forth between multiple programs. For example, if you are sharing a Microsoft Word document such as a syllabus, and then also going over to a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to want to just share the whole desktop. Otherwise, the options are the different programs that are currently open. So like if, for example, I wanted to share this Word document, this is going to just share the document that I have open, and you'll see a little green box that goes around what I'm specifically sharing here. So that's kind of a nice thing that you can see there. Or if I stop this share and go back to share my screen again and share the whole desktop, now you will see a green rectangle around my whole desktop, signifying that this is just the active area that people are going to be able to see. So another nice thing about the share screen function is you can share a whiteboard. And a whiteboard gives you the option to draw and make diagrams, and if there's anything you need to do that's a little bit more interactive, or if you're making anything instructional, you can just type in stuff here and make different types of workspaces. And then also you can add pages, so you can go back and forth between a couple different pages that you might already have, and that's just kind of a great way to utilize a function like that in the program. When you're done, all you have to do is go right here to click Stop Share, and that will bring you back to the normal view of everything. So hopefully that ends us right here, where now what you have hopefully done is scheduled a Zoom office hour and initiated that meeting. And then going back into Canvas, let's see. Now I have gone over how to embed this type of a link into your Canvas module, but another thing I want to do is actually add a page. And what we can do here is add, let's say, Zoom instructions. And I'm going to add that item, but then I'm going to click here and I want to edit this page. And I'm going to now post here instructions that I have for Zoom, and this is for students, and I'm happy to make this available for you as well. Maybe I'll make it look a little bit better, but this is kind of just like the basics of how to get started with class today. So as you can see, to get started with class today, please download Zoom from the CSUN website. Here it is. They can just click on it. Look underneath the Matador for the Download Center. Choose the first option, Zoom Client for Meetings. There is also an option for the Zoom mobile app, which is available for tablets or cell phones. Once you've downloaded Zoom, please do not log into a free account. Please select the option Login using SSO. SSO stands for Single Sign-On. You will be asked for a company domain. Go ahead and enter CSUN. All lowercase is fine, or all caps is fine. And then you will be redirected to the CSUN portal login page from here. This is going to authenticate your account. When you log in through your CSUN account, this unlocks your Pro account versus the free account. The Pro account also is normally $15 a month, but it's free of charge to all CSUN students. Once you have clicked and downloaded and signed in, all you have to do is click Join, or simply click on the link provided by your professor, which is you. So this is just some information that you might want to add in, and I'm going to go ahead and just save that, so that now the students will be able to come to this module And not only will they be able to click this link right here, the symbol stands for the link for office hours, but they're also going to be able to click on the instructions and be able to just read the instructions of how to do that. And then what I could also do in this segment is I could add, let's see, I'm actually going to add in another text header, and I'm just going to take the information here, and as I said before, here is the meeting ID. I'm going to just add the meeting ID right here, copy and paste that in, and basically what we will then see is that you are able to arrange that here. Actually, I'm going to arrange this here. The instructions will go first. The link for office hours here is here, but in case that link doesn't work, or for some reason if anyone has an issue, the meeting ID for office hours is going to also be right here. What you could then also do is add a class text header as class discussion group, or you could just put class group session, whatever you want to do to have your group session there. And then what you can do is add in the number for that as well. And I'm going to add a text header. I'm going to add the group ID, and let's see. So now this is going to be the office hours link, the office hours meeting ID. This is going to be a classroom group session, which actually I can add another link, which is going to be the external URL. I'm going to say this is the class group link. And if I go back into Zoom, I'm going to take this link here again from the test meeting that I set up, and I'm going to highlight and copy this link and paste that here in the external URL. This is going to be the class one, and I will hit indent one level here, and I'm going to add that item. So now what we have is the Zoom instructions, the link for office hours, the meeting ID for office hours. I'm going to bring up this link for the class group session, and then there's the meeting ID right here. Actually, I think I can delete that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So hopefully this looks a little bit cleaner. Here's the instructions. Maybe what I can do here is I'm gonna edit this and say Zoom instructions readme. And I'm going to put that up at the very top, how to get started. Or actually, maybe I can even make that get started. So this is just what I'm putting right here. So hopefully students can see this. In the module Zoom info, there is the Zoom instructions where they can get started. Then here is going to be the link that you can click on. Here is another link you can click on. And then just in case, I provided the extra information here, where not only is this link active, but this is also just backup information. So whenever the students want to attend the class, the group class on Zoom, or whenever they want to meet you for one-on-one office hours on Zoom, they can click both. And then all you want to do is go ahead and make sure that everything is published. And let's see, I'm going to publish that. And that is how you set up office hours and get the Zoom office hours and everything put into Canvas, and how you also will initiate the meeting. And again, when you come back here to office hours, you can go ahead and just click start the meeting from here. And again, this information for the invite can always be found here. The information I was using was simply the meeting ID and the join URL. So hopefully that wraps up this section of how to conduct office hours and set that up on Canvas. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. Okay, so I hope this video wasn't too confusing, but I wanted to just show you what I ended up doing. I made a few more changes to my page. So what I did is I put the instructions up at the very top, put them in all caps just to make sure that people see that. I put the link for office hours here, which also says click here if you want to go, but at the same time I also listed the meeting ID here as a backup. And then I also added a class group link, which is also ready to go here as an external URL. So if a student wants to come and meet you for office hours, or if a student needs to sign into a class, like a group class that's going on, technically once they have Zoom downloaded and installed, as it says in the instructions, if they just come here and click on these links, that should take them right into the meeting. Or at the worst case scenario, as a backup, if they open up Zoom and simply type in this number when the time has come for class or for the office hour session to begin, you can just be able to click here or dial in the number. One or the other should work both ways on Zoom, but this is a good way to set yourself up so that the instructions are here, the link is ready to go, and there's a backup just in case. So hopefully this covers all of the bases, and this shows you a good way to set up Zoom in Canvas. It's not too hard. I think I might have over-explained it, so I apologize at the length of this video, but at the same time, for those of you who might be just getting started with this for the first time, I hope I provided enough instructions and kept it clear enough. And at the same time, if you want to go back and rewind or try this again, feel free to go ahead and do so, and I hope that everyone has good luck, and if you need anything, please feel free to reach out.